Greetings, fair listeners, and thank you for joining me once again as we celebrate stories and storytelling in all their forms and the bards and artists who bring them all to life. I am the Tale Collector and your host, Erica Lynn Adams. In 1991 and 92, at the tender ages of 5 and 6, I attended Oak Valley Elementary School in Illinois, one of my earliest to provide a special ed class for my auditory processing disorder. I remember the name primarily because it was written in permanent marker on an old VHS tape recorded by my teacher, Miss Wilder. It featured myself and my classmates engaged in various activities with all the antics that come with a dozen kindergartners. A few of these episodes were accompanied by the songs of a particular folk singer which Miss Wilder played on her record player. Whether we were riding in an airplane to pay a pretend visit to a sick and absent classmate, getting playfully nervous at the spider on the floor, or reciting the story of the 5 little ducks before an audience of proud parents to celebrate the hatching of our resident ducklings, it is impossible for me to separate this man's music from my memories or vice versa, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Please allow me to present Raffi, performing from 1974 to the present and safe for listeners of all ages. Named after the renowned 19th century Armenian novelist, Raffi Gavokian was born on July 8, 1948 in Cairo, Egypt, after his Armenian Christian parents had fled the Armenian genocide during World War I. He and his family lived in Egypt, Jerusalem, and Syria before finally immigrating and settling in Toronto, Canada in 1958. His early musical appreciation came from several sources: pop songs on his parents' stereo, his mother's lullabies, his father's accordion, and the experience of first learning songs in Canada like Ba Ba Black Sheep at 10 years old because he hadn't grown up with them. Later on, he frequented the guitar store Millwheel, where Canadian musician John Lacey helped him improve his fingerpicking. After playing in coffee houses for several years, Raffi hitchhiked to Vancouver in 1972, hitting his stride 2 years later when he performed for the children in a nursery school run by his mother-in-law. He recorded his first children's album, Singable Songs for the Very Young, in a friend's basement and released it in 1976. I have to say, my mind was very much blown to hear that Raffi's first and third albums overall, Singable Songs being his second, were for adults. Hearing the first in particular, 1975's Good Luck Boy, was surreal to say the least. Nothing explicit, mind you. Pleasant and moving if you enjoy the likes of Fleetwood Mac, the Doobie Brothers, or Gordon Lightfoot. It's just that to hear someone I've associated for most of my life with silly songs like Down by the Bay, Shake My Sillies Out, and Banana Phone, singing instead about alcohol, empty relationships, and old age and regret in a world that's moving too fast, just feels weird. Yet I can't help but speculate that developing singable songs may have had some influence on his second adult album from 1977, Adult Entertainment. Tracks like Little Kristen January 28, about his baby niece Kristen, Out in the Yard, about the unconditional love between a man and his dog, and Wish I Were a Child Again, self-explanatory, are more uplifting and blissfully nostalgic in ways best enjoyed and appreciated by older listeners. Raffi's vocals remind me of Adam Young of electronic project Owl City. Like Young, I feel that Raffi has one of those special singing voices that lacks any pretentiousness or auditory trickery, and possesses instead a natural warmth and youthful purity that can uplift and comfort in equal measure. I've often associated his music with the cozy intimacy of sitting on a classroom carpet and listening to a kind teacher playing simple tunes, and encouraging their little listeners to sing and clap and dance along. This aesthetic is strengthened by some adorable album art. Authentic children's crayon drawings of Raffi with his guitar and surrounded by a sun with a face, a green T-Rex, and other very colorful things. Sadly, this art style was only done for his first 3 children's albums, Singable Songs for the Very Young, 1977's More Singable Songs, and 1979's The Corner Grocery Store. From then on, Raffi's album covers would feature him in photographic or more realistically drawn images. While these are still very delightful and show off Raffi's fatherly good looks, I think a certain charm was lost here. Luckily, this doesn't affect the music's quality at all. Though his primary instruments are the acoustic guitar and ukulele, Raffi utilizes a variety of others for all those funny, sleepy, or thoughtful moods that kids feel. Trumpet, keyboard, accordion, violin, harp, and of course, kazoo, because what kid doesn't love the kazoo? But the best sound of all is the kids themselves. Though the crayon drawings are gone, the classroom quality remains intact via the children's chorus featured in several of Raffi's songs. Not an organized professional youth choir, but a nice big bunch of playfully out-of-tune little ones. Speaking of being naturally playful, I especially adore Raffi's new takes on old classics. These can be clever and funny. Comin' Round the Mountain gets a Christmas twist in Comin' Down the Chimney. A gruff old lion plays his own hokey pokey as the Lion Pokey, and instead of a farm full of animals, Old MacDonald had a band full of instruments. Or they can be sweet and gentle, such as when he replaces the darker and more disturbing elements of nursery rhymes and lullabies like London Bridge is Falling Down, Ring Around the Rosie, and Three Blind Mice, with much brighter and happier alternatives. London Rain is Falling Down, Ring Around Sweet Roses, and Three Kind Mice. His music also caters to children of different countries and cultures. Being Canadian, his most frequent non-English tracks are in French, from the tranquil paradigm Frère Jacques to the impishly fun Les Zombies à la Loup-garou. But Raffi has dabbled in other languages and world styles too. Portuguese with Samba Lele, Caribbean with Tingalelo, Spanish with De Colores, Tibetan with Senga Gala, and Japanese with Haruga Kita, to name just a few. In a 2024 interview with Emma Silvers of MotherJones.com, Raffi stated, quote, "In my early childhood, growing up in a fairly authoritarian family, my parents loved me greatly. But it was at times a coercive love, not exactly a respectful love, and I felt sometimes like a possession. So there was a lot I had to work out. I'm really glad I did it, because I learned a tremendous amount not only about myself, but about how it works with humans, that the love we are born with is dependent on caregivers and their respect and love for us." End quote. His own childhood challenges, adjusting to his new life in Canada and then growing up through such tumultuous social justice movements as civil rights and anti-Vietnam, helped shape Raffi's views on the importance of a person's first years of life, which in turn has helped shape not only his music, but the way he presents it to the world's children. In 2010, he founded the Raffi Foundation of Child Honoring, the philosophy of which he conceptualized in 1997 and described as, quote, "a vision of an extraordinary social change revolution with the universal human at its heart, and that universal human is the human child." End quote. Along with several Canadian and music honors, Raffi also won 2006's Fred Rogers Award for his continual refusal of commercial endorsement offers, going so far as to turn down a film proposal for his most famous song, Baby Beluga. In fact, not counting his pre-recorded live shows, his only film credit as of this episode is the song Raining Like Magic in the 1992 animated fantasy film Ferngully: The Last Rainforest, a most appropriate choice given his love of nature and consistent environmental advocacy. Indeed, over the years, Raffi has become increasingly involved in various causes for the sake of new generations. Many of his more recent songs, like Big Blue Planet, ABC Democracy, and Sustainability, celebrate the beauty of our planet and teach and encourage young listeners to change the world for the better. The messages aren't very subtle, artistically speaking, but I think that's for the best given the core audience, not to mention how sadly and needlessly messy politics tend to get in the grown-up world. Moreover, he's composed tribute songs for several influential figures and groups who have worked and struggled and sacrificed for the greater good. Some examples include Jane Jane, in honor of English primatologist and anthropologist Dame Jane Goodall, For All You Do, in honor of the essential workers during the COVID-19 pandemic, and Cool It, in honor of Canadian environmentalist Dr. David Suzuki. It seriously amazes me that this guy never became a parent himself. From nonsensical tunes and dancing beats to didactic verses and gentle lullabies, Raffi has a song and a place in his heart for every kind of child. Just as important, his music is filled with joy without immaturity, conviction without force, and love without sentimentality. Sounds that we as kids, both young and old, need to play and hear more of in this crazy world of ours. Gather round next time for another tale you may have forgotten or have never heard before. Until then, listeners, may inspiration always find you.